Do you want to know the truth about Italki? And I mean, the real truth? You can't handle the truth! Alright, Jackie Nicholson, this is not A Few Good Men. This is English Like a Native, and I think that these guys deserve to know the truth. Hello everyone, as you've already gathered, this is English Like a Native. I am Anna English, and today I am going to reveal the truth about the language learning provider who I'm always talking about, Italki. But don't worry, I am not going to patronize you by taking you step by step through every single process on the website, like how to set up an account, because that stuff is pretty obvious and you guys know what you're doing. But I will be giving you a general overview and letting you know about some of the features that I think you definitely should know about. Now, I know you're very busy and you possibly won't stay to the very end of this video. So let me tell you right now that if at any point you decide to go and check out Italki for yourself, which you probably should, then use the link in the description box below and get yourself $10 credit when you make your first purchase. Now, $10 will get you a whole lesson, so it's definitely worth getting those credits put into the Italki bank. Ka-ching! All right, enough of that. What is Italki? Well, Italki is an online language learning provider. That means they put teachers and students together. Now, these are private lessons only. So if you are eager to find a teacher to help you progress in your language learning, then this is the kind of place that you would do it. But I would also say that Italki is its own little community, a place where you can socially interact with people who are also learning the same language as you. And this could be very helpful. It's pretty obvious from the moment you sign up that the website is very professional, it's quite slick, it looks nice. Now, first and foremost, you would visit Italki to learn language. And one of the major pluses is that Italki offer hundreds of languages. There are so many languages on there, I couldn't be bothered to count them all. And you can state on your account which languages you're interested in. You don't have to set up for one specific language like you do on other language platforms. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is to find a teacher. And Italki has lots of teachers. Now, that's another bonus of Italki, is that you can choose who you have lessons with. Certainly for the most popular languages, there is a vast library of teachers waiting to communicate with you. All you have to do is click Find a Teacher, set up which language you're looking to learn, and there are other parameters you can set as well. You can ask to have either an advanced speaker or a native speaker to teach you the language. You can also choose a teacher with a blue hat or a yellow hat. A blue hat means they are a community teacher, or you can have a pro teacher, which is obviously someone who has passed certain teaching exams and are fully qualified to teach you. For those of you with very specific needs like exam preparation, business English, perhaps you're looking for someone to teach your children, so you need a teacher who is experienced in teaching children, then you can narrow your search down to these things as well. You can also set your price range. With that done, the next thing to do is find a teacher within your budget. Set up your parameters like I just discussed, and you'll have a lovely list of teachers to choose from. Oh, so much choice. I don't know where to start. Now, choice, of course, is fantastic. It's wonderful to have lots to choose from, but this can also be a negative thing. I always find that when there's too many things to choose from, I just can't make a decision. But Italki's recent features have made this a little bit easier for you. Now, when you look at this long list of teachers, there's lots of information readily available to help you to choose which teachers you're most interested in. So the things that interested me the most were the stats. So you see how many lessons a teacher has taught on the platform to see if they're very experienced or not. You also see a star rating, which is always a good indication of a teacher's quality. It's out of 5 stars, and people who've had those lessons will rate the teacher. So someone with 5 stars who has taught thousands of lessons, you know, is probably going to be a great teacher. The other thing that makes life easier is the hourly rate is clearly visible and the teacher's availability. based on your time zone. So Italki make it very, very simple. You don't have to do time conversions or anything like that. They do everything based on your time zone, so you can figure things out with ease. Now, one feature which I love and I didn't previously realize existed on Italki was the opportunity to find a teacher who is available to teach you now. As I mentioned, I'm an incredibly busy person, and while I can try to plan ahead, normally it's better for me to say, I'm available now. I need to take a lesson now. Is there a teacher available to teach me at this moment in time? And Italki, I'm not sure if this is a new feature or not, but they do have the option to choose a search for available now teachers. Usually you have to give them about 5 or 10 minutes to respond, but if they are available, then they will come and do a lesson with you without any previous planning, which I think is a big, big bonus. Of course, if there's a specific teacher that you're really, really keen to work with, then booking ahead is always going to be beneficial for you. As you're on this search, you can now also bookmark any teachers that you're interested in. There's a nice big heart, ba-bum, 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 which you can click, and then those teachers are added to a different page for you to look up again later. When you decide you like the look of a teacher, you can click on their profile, which opens up to a whole page profile, and at the top of this profile you get a video. Thumbs up, Italki. It's always fabulous to see someone animated in a video. In the video, they introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about how they believe they can help you or their background, that kind of thing. And it really gives you a good idea of the teacher, but also it gives you a good idea of the quality of their equipment. Now, it might not bother you if someone's sound is a bit crackly, but for me, it was a big turn off. So I always looked for teachers that had good quality equipment, so I knew that I wouldn't be distracted throughout the lesson. So that's always a good thing to look out for. Now, below this video, there's all the kind of information you would expect. There's a write-up and about me section. There's also then the types of lessons and packages they offer. If they offer specialist packages, like mini courses, it might be 80 lessons on business English, and then they'll tell you the price for that entire package. Or they may just offer single lessons in specific subjects or just general lessons. Then many of them offer a trial lesson, which is at a hugely reduced price. Now, trials. When you sign up, you get given 3 trials. These are highly discounted half-an-hour sessions with the teachers. So I would choose 3 teachers, have 3 trial lessons, and see how you get on with those teachers. Get a good feel for the platform, see if it's something that you like, and then you'll start paying normal rates for those teachers. Now, coming to rates, the rates vary for all the teachers. Some of the very highly skilled, highly professional teachers are charging as much as $80 per hour was the most expensive one I saw. But some of them are charging teeny tiny amounts. I saw people who were charging $10 an hour. I saw one trial lesson going for $1. So that was half an hour for $1. It really does vary. So there are teachers available for all different budgets, and definitely if you search around, I'm sure you can find exactly what you're looking for that will suit your needs and your budget restrictions. Now, one thing I didn't mention on the teachers page is the review section. Really, really helpful. After every lesson, you're encouraged to leave a review for the teacher to talk about how the lesson went, how you found that teacher. And once you find the teacher that you want to go ahead with, it's very easy to then look at the teacher's calendar, their availability. I think this is a new feature that Italki have brought in. It's very, very helpful. It shows you the availability of the teacher, your availability as well, so that you don't double book yourself. And once you click on it, it's sent to the teacher, and the teacher will come back and confirm whether or not they are able to do that time. Once everything is confirmed, you'll get a message, and you'll also choose your mode of communication. I chose to do it via Skype, but you can also do it via FaceTime, Google Hangouts, and QQ, whatever that is, I don't know. Once you get into doing your lessons, you'll find that there's a contact tab at the very top of the page, and on there you'll see the teachers that you've had trials with, the teachers that you're booked with, the teachers that you've had lessons with, and the teachers that you've favorited. Which can be really helpful if, like me, you're learning a number of different languages and working with many different teachers because you like variety. Like I said earlier, Italki is like a community, a social platform, as well as a learning platform. And this is evident when you click on the Community tab. In the Community tab, there's a drop-down menu and you'll see things like articles, very helpful. They release a couple of articles every week, and although there are articles aimed at lots of different languages, some of which you won't be learning, so some won't be relevant. You can find on your homepage, they feature articles that they feel are relevant for you. So these blogs are always good to come dip in and out of. Some of them are incredibly helpful, and it's definitely worth looking through the backlog of articles to find things that might be super helpful. Also on the Community tab, you'll find Notebook. Now, Notebook is a place for you to write in your target language. I wouldn't write too much, just a paragraph at a time, making this part of your regular practice. Now, if a native sees it and they're available, they will look at it and correct it for you. I did look down and I corrected a few myself. Not everyone had a correction, so I think because it's a community-based thing, there's no guarantee that someone will correct you. But I always say if you get involved, then it's likely that other people will get involved too. So if you're on there, try and help people who are learning your language and use the notebook just to practice your writing. And if you get a correction from a native, then that's an even bigger bonus. Also, on the Community tab, you have answers. This is very similar to Notebook, but all you do is ask a question. So if it's a grammar question or you don't know what a certain phrase means, then you can write it in the answers section. And when I looked through this particular section, I noticed that everyone I looked at had an answer. So I think this is definitely an area where the community gets really involved. There's also a forum type section, which is called discussions. People can post questions and start a discussion on a certain topic and everyone gets involved. So it's always good to communicate with people there. But the very interesting part of the Community tab is there is a chance to search for a language partner. So you can look for other people who are learning your language. Perhaps they come from the same country as you and they're learning your target language. You can search for this and you can then send them messages and see if you can connect and learn together. And besides that, Italki also try to encourage you with missions and challenges. There is quite a lot going on that website if you have the time to look around it. So that's my overview of the website, but what were the actual lessons like? We need to get down to the nitty-gritty. Now, because I'm taking a trip to Italy, I decided I would take this opportunity to take some Italian lessons because I know very little Italian. And as soon as I've had those lessons, I'll tell you all about it in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, in 1, here goes. Okay, well, that concludes my 4th Italian lesson this week. So I've used my 3 trials and had a lesson besides. Every lesson I had a completely different teacher. I mixed it up between community teachers and pro teachers, and to be honest, at my basic level, I couldn't tell the difference. For me, they were all qualified, they all were very knowledgeable, very good teachers. So I was happy to use community teachers just as much as I was pro teachers. Perhaps if you're more advanced and you have something more specific that you need, like exam preparation, then maybe in those cases you would prefer a professional teacher. But for me, the community teachers were fabulous, so I didn't notice the difference. The whole process of going through a lesson was good. Italki were fantastic at reminding me when the lessons were about to start. They sent me emails, I got notifications via my browser to remind me that the lessons were coming. In each lesson as well, the teachers were very different, all very different personalities. And I guess this is where the choice becomes a good point, a really good point, because if you're working with a teacher that you don't like the style of, you can go and choose someone else. So I got a really different lesson every time, and on each lesson they did all provide me with their own pre-prepared materials. They all had worksheets for me to look at, and all of them actually offered me additional support. So after the lesson they sent me additional information, so it was a very well supported lesson in all cases. So to round everything up, the pluses are the fact that you can completely tailor the lesson to whatever it is that you need. You don't have to be led by anyone. You can lead the way and decide exactly what you want to learn, when you want to learn it, and who you want to learn it with. Secondly, the fact that it does work towards all of your language learning goals if you're learning more than one language. And thirdly, the price. The fact that there is a range of teachers on there offering a range of prices means that you should be able to find something that suits your budget. Also, don't forget that special offer. I've mentioned it twice and now it's coming a third time. If you haven't signed up for Italki before and you use the link in the description box below, then when you make your first purchase, Italki will credit your account with an additional $10, which will pretty much afford you a lesson. And to make this an honest and balanced review, I must give the negatives, and there were only a few. For some people, the amount of choice might make the decision-making process difficult, but really, is choice a negative thing? It's debatable. And finally, a teeny tiny grumble about the connection. In one of my lessons, it wasn't a perfect connection, but then again, we're talking about the internet and we're talking about Skype, a software that I know full well doesn't always behave itself. Now, those teeny tiny grumbles aside, I do rate Italki as one of the best language learning providers around, and I only truly stand behind a handful of language learning providers. So if you haven't yet checked out Italki, then why not go and give it a look by clicking on that link in the description box below. If you're an Italki student already, then please do let us know in the comment section below what your experience was. All that remains to say is thank you very much for listening. Take care. Good luck in your language learning journey, and goodbye.